All right. Welcome, everyone. Welcome, audience. Thanks for being here. Tonight we're here to approve changes to the MS 737. Kim, do you want to walk through the changes that were made?
Yes, thanks very much, everybody, for coming out on short notice to correct these, and thanks to Karen, who pointed us in the right direction, noticing that these errors occurred. So we have four revenue entries that are incorrect, and you all have the sheets that that list the four of them. We have the state, under state sources, the water pollution grant. We put an original amount of $104,593, and the correct amount is $26,148. In the interfund operating transfers from capital reserves, the amount of $1,634,606 was in, and it should be $817,303. And Lynn has included the reasons for the incorrections. From trust and fiduciary accounts, the original amount was $80,000. It should have been $40,000. And finally, the proceeds from long-term bonds and notes was in at $1,910,000, and it should have been $955,000. So essentially, it was doubled. So the updated MS 737 is here with these corrected amounts. I'll point out that none of the amounts in the budgeted amount have changed. These are just the four revenue amounts.
Okay. And point of consideration, we just need to approve the changes that are
That's
here,
correct.
right?
Yep.
Any questions or thoughts for Kim or the committee?
Yeah, I'd like to just back up a little bit. At last week's meeting, there had been a change from the 29th to the 30th in terms of how we were handling some accounts like the agents to spend. I know John kind of spoke about that last week, but I think it's worth mentioning when we do have that kind of significant change, that if that could be addressed really transparently and more direct after, because what we saw on the 5th was very different in terms of the budget, in terms of the comparative budget. We had the 1 million. Let me see. We went from 1,025,000 on the 29th to 817,303 on the 30th. And I do think that some of that change may have impacted the ultimately what was ended up being duplicated on the MS 737. So I think drawing our attention to something like that would raise awareness and get us to a point where we can do a better job of evaluating the numbers that are in front of us. Because what's really nice here is when you take the MS 737 and you look at the revenue number as reported here, the $5,339,047, we can tie that out to the revenue detail in the package. We can tie it out to the revenue report here as well. So I think it's important in the future for us to take the time to go through and make sure that we can tie those out. And that way there, we provide a check and balance in the process, as well as reassure ourselves that what we're signing off on is indeed what we've seen. So I would just put that out there as a going forward, and we actually can do that tonight. And I think it's worthwhile to take our time to look at the revenue number on the MS 737, go to the detail package, and we can see that same number there, and we can also see it here. So that way there we can assure ourselves that we are signing off on what it is that has been put before. So I think it's a good check and balance, and I think we should serve in that capacity as well. Does anyone have any comment?
Fair statement. Fair statement.
Yeah. So along those lines, when we see that on page, unnumbered, I think is page 10, on the MS 737, we can open that up. We can see the $5,339,047. when we look at our detail report that has been given to us this evening, which I seem to have trouble putting my fingers on right now, but I know we got it, so bear with me while I try and locate it. Got too much paper here. You can see it inside that as well. Since I'm having trouble putting on it, thank you, Charlie. If you go inside here to the third page in, it has revenue detail. At the very bottom, we see that same number, 5,339,047. So we have it there. And then when we look at the revenue report, we see it here as well. Inside this, let me grab that again, inside this detail report as well, when you go to the Town of New London FY 2026 budget summary, on the top half, you see, again, that 5,339,047. So these are and then down below, we see it there as well. So these are places that we can just make sure we're kind of crossing our Ts and dotting our Is on these. So I think that's a
Great.
good practice to do in the future.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Yep.
What caused the discrepancies? Is it a submission issue, an entry issue? What?
When I put it into the DRA portal, I put in the warrant article, and then I put in the expenses for it, and then I put in any revenue that might have something to do with it. For example, the warrant article number 3 talks about the bond that we're going to get, $955,000. I put that in as an expense and then as a bond that's coming through as revenue. For some reason, warrant article 4 also pulled in the 955. It also pulled in the 40,000. That's why you can see a lot of this is just doubled.
Yeah.
And I know it doesn't look like it's doubled on the 104 going down to the 26,000, but that is a double number because it pulled it in from sewer and, so Article 4 apparently wanted all the revenue. And I don't know why it did it. And I didn't catch it last week on Wednesday, which I should have, because I should have done what Karen said that we should do, is compare all the numbers, and I didn't. I thought it was okay when I was entering it, saw it on the screen that looked okay, and when I printed, it pulled in those extra numbers. So
Is that a software glitch?
Or is that?
it's the DRA portal, the Department of Revenue.
Did you have any conversation with them at all about it?
I have not yet. They're very busy trying to get
Yeah.
all this taken care of, but I'll talk to Kat, after this goes, that's our rep there.
Okay.
And see if it's something that is happening to other towns.
Yeah.
So it's not our own Excel?
It's not our own, it's not Excel, it's not Questica, this was the DRA portal that I don't know how or why, but I didn't catch it. I should have been a little more on my game last week.
Sorry, you were sick, I think.
Yeah, but
It was mostly me because I wasn't sick and I knew she was sick, so I could have easily looked at the number.
Blame her.
So, yeah.
But I think, Karen, to your point, maybe spending a little bit more time to just cross-check numbers is
Right.
valuable use of time.
Right. And I have another question, too. With regards to the MS 737, it looks like the water pollution grant number changed as well. Was there a reason, issue there as well, along the same lines, or is that something?
right, because we get, as the town gets $26,000 from that grant, essentially. But the check comes in for $78,000, part of it goes to the sewer. And the same thing happened with that. It took in the revenue, the $26,000, it took that twice, and it also pulled in the 50-some thousand twice. So that was the same glitch that happened.
Same thing, right.
Yep.
Okay. So does anyone want to make a motion to approve the changes to the MS 737?
Can I just do one last thing here? Or
Sure.
maybe not one last thing, but one additional thing. So we just now verified the revenue as we're kind of going through our new process. I think we should do the same with the appropriation. So if we go to the MS 737, and we go back to that unnumbered page 10, we see $13,476,117. And then when we go to our cover sheet on the comparative budget, we also have the $13,476,117. And then if we flip the page to our expense detail, we see the 13,476,117, and that flows through to the town tax rate calculation as well in that particular schedule. So we just have lots of really good checks and balances to use, so it's good to kind of go through that tonight, so we're practiced. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, I so move.
Made a motion. Any seconds? All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Nay? All right. Any other business?
Question, this gives us adequate time to get the correction into the printing of the town report as well?
Yes, yep, this will go in. Yep.
Yep.
Do we want to look at some dates tonight for a postmortem, because as the calendar starts to
Yep, sure, I'm happy
roll,
to.
and I know we have a school vacation week coming up.
Yeah, I'm not, yeah, we can check with John and Meg on their schedules.
Yeah, but maybe if we could pick a couple of dates tonight, and so that we at least have those dates, and then we can present them to Meg and John to see how they work for them.
All right, so let's see. I guess the question is, do we want to do this? Can we still have, we can still have that meeting with John, with the old members and inclusive of new members so they can hear.
Yeah, I think you're going to be inviting the candidates anyway. Either way, I think you're going to have the candidates. So if you do it before town meeting, we'll invite them. If you do it after town meeting, I'm sure that Mark and John will come back to
Yeah.
help. So either way, you're going to have the new and the old, I think.
So what I was thinking is instead of just the current committee, is to bring the new members who
Right.
are voted in so that they can
Well,
hear and offer their opinions as new members.
we have 3 slots, so Lou's running for re-election, right? So we have 2, and there's only 2 candidates.
Correct.
So I think it's probably safe to assume we know who's going to be serving next. I think it would be more helpful to have
Never know about
people
writing.
who are existing members while they're still in their term. That's just my opinion, to have Mark and John here while they're still
Is there
serving
a,
members.
is there a reason that it would make a difference if they were in their term or not in their
I
term?
just think that's what was done last year. We had the existing board, the existing committee, and candidates, because we had more candidates than seats last year, so candidates were invited. And I just think in one of these times, the sooner the better. Well, it's still fresh.
I would argue that to be efficient, to have the new members, I mean, I'd go back to Charlie's comments, Melissa's comments when she was a new member. It would be nice for them to hear what we're
Oh,
talking about.
Yeah, definitely.
And as well as maybe even participate as far as what their thoughts are.
So I would invite them for sure and have them,
Yeah.
in the audience.
That's all I'm saying,
Oh,
is
yeah,
that it's after,
definitely.
after the town meeting.
But then the election's over, right? So the terms are up the terms would be up for Mark and John.
I don't think that matters. I think what we're looking to achieve is to gain the input of any person who's had the experience relative to how they might view what we might do differently going forward, and whether they're in their term or not in their term. I don't have a problem with that personally.
It's probably more, I guess I'm looking at it, the sooner the better, because the election's on like the 12th of March. So we're already, then we'd be in, call it mid-March,
Yep.
and that seems a bit
I don't
far
know
away to
what,
me.
to be honest, Karen, I don't know what would change in 2 weeks. I get what you're saying, the sooner
Yeah.
the better, but I also think that it's helpful to have the new members and have them come. Yes, there are only 3 people that are running, and we know who they are, we can invite them, but I think if it's another week or 2, I don't think that's going to make a big difference.
I've expressed my opinion.
No, so have I.
Yeah, good.
Okay. Any other thoughts from members? Opinions?
I honestly, no, I don't,
Okay.
I can see it either way. Go ahead, I can do it after all. Go ahead, what were you saying?
I am personally unavailable the weeks of February 24th and March 10th, so I can't do those weeks. I'll be out of the country.
I'm also not available
Not available.
those weeks, yeah. I'm starting to travel again.
What about March 19th?
I am personally free.
You are free. Is everyone else?
Not available.
You're not available.
No.
Any other day that week? It doesn't have to be Wednesday.
I'm available Tuesday,
I'm on a flight Tuesday.
not available Thursday.
Okay,
Do Monday?
not here.
Can I propose a date?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because
please do.
the other dates, as we're hearing, the dates are getting kind of far out, so maybe we propose a couple of dates? March 5th, the date before the election?
Fifth,
March 5th?
5.
I'm away on business. I'm away.
Okay.
What about the week of the 24th of March?
I'm gone the whole week.
Gone the whole
Not that
week.
it's-
What about the 21st, which is a Friday of March?
I'm here. The big basketball playoff, I'm not gonna be.
Is it what?
My son's in the big basketball playoff on Friday.
We could do a Saturday if
What
people
about
like
a Saturday? I'll buy
Saturdays.
donuts.
I could also do
Saturday's a possibility.
Saturday.
22nd, coffee and donuts?
That week is the only week I'm not around. Okay. So I'm sorry, I wish I
No,
were,
no, no, no. That's,
but I'm not.
what about the 8th
The 8th of April?
of March?
March.
Oh, actually, sorry, I'm not here then. I'm flying. Go ahead.
No, I like the idea of a wind down, but I also missed last week's meeting because I thought we were done 2 weeks ago and just didn't read the email. At some point, we need to this needs to be done. We need to be done, have the election, and then start the process over again. I feel like when I'm talking to potential candidates or somebody's asking me about the process, they ask what the commitment is. And I think it's a responsibility of us to keep it appropriate and within, the standard average that we've had over like the past 10 years, which I thought was like 10 meetings or 12 meetings. It's not to say I don't care or that we shouldn't be thorough, but we also have to respect everybody's obvious, very busy schedules and commitment. And if you need more time to get up to speed, I don't think there's any shortage of opportunity for people to reach out and or gather more information that way. So that's my opinion.
Should we just send out like a survey monkey? We don't have John and Meg here, so.
Sure.
We can't even really pin anything down. I can
We could
send.
do a Calendarly or something like that that can offer
Right,
multiple
we'll
dates.
put like 6 dates on it, include a Saturday or two. Maybe that'll work.
Yep. Does that work for
Yep.
most members?
Yep.
To do what?
Send out some options.
I'm in favor of in-person, a discussion, and weigh out the merits of any recommendations that anyone at the table would make relative to a process, and really come to a solid agreement as a group on our procedure and process for this. And so whatever we can do to achieve a 1 hour, 75-minute discussion, whatever that might take, I think we should work to do that.
Okay.
And I'm happy to flex to Sundays, even if you want to do Sundays, so it doesn't matter.
No more football, so that works.
Yeah, Sunday's fine.
Yeah, go ahead.
I understand. I think just we have constantly evolved the definition and are, tried to clarify as we go what the budget committee is supposed to do. Again, I just feel like at some point we need to be done. That's enough. And we can start it again next year. But we address this every meeting too. So I'm kind of over it a little bit.
Lindsay, excuse me, when you say we address it every meeting, I'm not sure what that means.
We have some sort of discussion over our purpose and or the procedure. It generally takes up about 15 to 20% of the meeting itself. which is fine. That's what we need. But I'm saying we have addressed it. We do address it every meeting. I'm happy to look at the notes or the meeting notes and point it out. And I understand the process is a long one and it is complicated and it takes a while to get up to speed. And I am fully supportive of whatever we need to do, but I am also fully supportive of my own time and my own commitment and those of other people who might want to contribute to this process, but don't want to attend 27 meetings in what used to take 10 to 12.
I think that is your opinion. I know other people have opinions that they would like to potentially meet more, words of being more strategic or, thinking longer term out. I'm happy to have that conversation with the members of the committee. I don't think we're going to meet everyone's ideals or needs, but we can have that discussion of what this looks like moving forward if people feel like it's not the right process. Happy to have that discussion, and as a committee, we can come to some agreement. It's not going to make everybody happy, whether that's more meetings, less meetings. We've done it this way for a long time. I'm always open to doing something different. But I also will say that just because you have an opinion, whoever it is, doesn't mean that that's going to be the way it is, right? So we'll discuss it, and we'll figure out the best way moving forward.
I think there could be a lot of value in a postmortem. I think in most organizations that I've been in, after a season, a process, an event, it's very part of the course that you do a postmortem to
Completely agree.
really check in on what we did, how we did it, and how we may want to do it going forward.
Yeah,
Thank you.
100%. All right. So we will come back to you with some 5 or 6 dates, and we will go from there and have a meeting. All right. Any motions to adjourn?
So moved.
Any seconds? Second. All those in favor?
Nay.
The blue is on record for nay.